Yeah, just wanted to take the conversation further on communication and how and just sharing these videos to further emphasize how important it is to be flexible in our communication and also develop our ability to be strong communicators in any situation. So one thing I wanted to do was share some real life examples in the moment. See, I speak with businesses. I speak with, my sisters that work with me in my business, and I speak with a whole range of different people. And um, flexibility and communication is so key. Not only does it help you in the stuff that you do for a living, but also being a strong effective communicator helps in your everyday life with being able to um, pretty much strong effective communication in all areas, a strong effective communication that comes from a place of being grounded allows you to effectively and strongly communicate your boundaries, your emotions, and what you need. Okay, and so these are the cornerstones of self-esteem. So communicating with self-esteem is what we're actually talking about here. So let us jump in. Yesterday, I shared the Unearth Your Worth communication model that I revamped after originally creating it in 2016. And this model looks like a scale or a spectrum. And on one side of the spectrum, because I'm always dealing with archetypes, I'm always dealing with we are both sides of the coin, right? So everything is polarity for me. Everything that I teach is about bringing an and attitude to both sides of the spectrum. And so in the Unearth Your Worth communication model that I really should make some visuals for, because it's taken me a long time to verbally give you a visual of this model. I'll work on that over the coming week. But in the Unearth Your Worth communication model, we've got two archetypes. And on one side, and then like every spectrum, there's like levels, right? There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's levels to how extreme the attributes are of these archetypes. So on this side, we've got our salesperson, right? Who at the far extreme, at the 5, can seem a bit arrogant, can seem a bit sure of themselves, can seem a bit self-centered, all of that. So that's at a 5. But then at the 4, it might be a little bit softer. At the 3, at the 2, it's probably like a knowing of themselves, but not all the way arrogant, not all the way showing it. So that's our salesperson archetype. Then over on the left-hand side, on the other side of the spectrum, we've got what we would call like our customer service focused archetype, who's all about giving, who's all concerned with giving and operating with care and consideration. A very different vibe over here with our full-blown, you know, um, archetype of the salesperson, right? These are very extreme. So, like at the extreme of the customer service focused archetype, at that extreme, you've got the yes man, you've got the yes woman who just does anything. Right, just gives you whatever you need, doesn't want to rock the boat, doesn't want to, avoids conflict like the plague, right? Both, both of these extremes we want to avoid, okay? Not avoid, but integrate and become, and this is why flexibility and being able to traverse all levels of the spectrum is important, because sometimes we need to be at level 5 customer service archetype focus. We need to be able to be here. We need to be able to level 5 give when when shit has really hit the fan for a customer or for a client or for that you someone in your life. We need to be able to drop everything and give. And we can't do that if we're fully attached to being in this archetype that just is a bulldozer and goes in and takes what they need. Right? So we need to be able to traverse. Same thing over here. There are times where we're going to need to put our red band gumboots on, or whatever shoes you want to wear, whatever steel cap shoes you want to wear, and put our foot down, right? And there's going to be times where we need to do this, okay? Or there's going to be times where we need to be like at a 3 on both of these sides of the spectrum, right? And I want to make these videos to show how we can traverse and what the different energies look like at each of these levels. Hence why I need the visuals, because this looks like I am at an orchestra, but really I'm talking about, we've got the center point where we are balanced and we are focused in our being. And then from there, we have interactions with other people. Let me know if you can hear me, if you're loving this, if this is making sense, or if you have any questions. I can see your comments live. I'm live on a few different places: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook groups, la-di-da, YouTube. But let me know if you've got questions. I can see your stuff here in front of me. So we've got the center point, which is where we always want to come from, a place of groundedness, a place of, trust in ourselves to interact with others. And then, depending on the situation, right? As I said, I talk to businesses all day long, and some of them are out the gate, like, not happy, and some of them are like, really happy and just loving life. And so there's different approaches to that, right? My communication style is going to change. Just like when anyway, you get it. So depending on the situation, we need to assess where our energy is going to go, right? So I'm going to give you an example that I had in the last hour. Speaking with a business, and they come through, and I'm going to try and be like vague with the details, because out of respect for the person, right? Or the business. And I always want to try and speak as if they were listening, right? So well, not so much, because I can't get passionate, but whatever. So business comes through. I start having this call with a business, and they're asking for something. And it's okay to ask for what you need. Absolutely, it's okay to ask for what you need. But I have this saying, and I've used this over the many years that I've been, kind of dealing with people's requests, is that you're more than welcome to ask, but you need to also accept the answer, right? A request is a request, and in response to that request, there's going to be an answer, and you do at some point need to accept that answer. Well, some people don't accept that answer lightly. And this is an example that I had here today. And so sometimes when people become unreasonable with their requests, or with how they're speaking, or with what they're demanding, that's when my energy will step into more of the archetype that has this assuredness in what I'm saying. I will come from center, and I will start to move out into, and my energy will start to traverse into the archetype that is sure of what they're saying, that is more direct, and takes on the attributes of more of the assured, self-confident, like archetype of the salesperson, right? That is sure of themselves. That's where my energy starts to go. And I'm going to give you the actual story in a moment, so you can put this all together. Where my energy is not going, when I'm dealing with unreasonable requests, is into my customer service archetype. I'm not going into that, because that would be, sorry for your frustration, la-di-da-di-da. No. That's maybe where I might start, but when the situation starts to unravel, and I can hear that there's some unreasonable requests going on, or unreasonable responses, then this is when my energy starts to move out this way. So you get it. It's like we need to be able to traverse. We need to be able to traverse back and forward depending on the situation. Communication is so important. So let me give you what happened. So I'm having this conversation, and this person is asking for, of course, what is businesses asking for? Discounts. And so generally I gave the answer like, in these situations, like it's not possible. But happy to look up the details and have a little bit of a look into it with them. So I did that, and then I repeated, oh, actually, no, this is actually not possible. Why? Because there's already discounts. And yeah, like it's not possible. And I was like explaining everything, and we were going through the details, and they just kept pushing the issue, like just kept pushing the issue. And I explained probably like 2 or 3 times, and at this point I'm kind of like at a 1 towards my salesperson, archetype. I'm standing my ground a bit here at about a 1 or 2 on this scale. And they're like, yeah, is there anything you can do? Otherwise, I might just have to wait for it. Ding, ding, ding. And they brought up how they might just have to um, do a bit of a workaround, um, basically step out of their integrity to get what they need. And so that it's all just easier for them, how about we just do what they're asking so that they don't have to step out of integrity? Wow. Um, that's not how we roll around here. And I said, well, you could absolutely do that, like what you're proposing. Um, I said, and this is me, right? This is just me. This won't work for everyone. And please bear in mind, I've like 15 years experience having these kinds of conversations and dealing with, you know, these types of situations. But I just want to give you I just want to keep giving you these examples so that you can get fired up by them and start practicing. I don't know when you may run into these. So basically, it was semi like, well, if you're not going to give me what I want, I'm gonna throw my toys out the cot. And I was like, all right, okay. So he went there. And at this stage I'm at like a 2 in my standing my ground archetype, salesperson archetype, self-assured archetype. I'm at about a 2. After he mentioned that, I went to about a 4, right? And I was like, yeah, you could absolutely do that little workaround to save yourself some money. And I was like, just looking at the overall like account and licenses here, seems like it seems like you're getting a lot of value. It seems like the product is valuable, and when a product is valuable, um, you do need to pay for it, and I can see that you're already getting discounts. So, yeah, like you need to pay for it. Fuck, should have. And that's my 4, and that's like I don't always like to have to state the bleedingly obvious that, if a product is valuable, pay for it. And yeah, the first 2 attempts of, letting them down gently was so that I didn't have to like point out the bleedingly obvious, but I will. And that's what I'm talking about with the Unearth Your Worth communication model, is that we need to be able to go places and say things when it is appropriate. Well, as soon as I said what I said, I mentioned that, if you are getting the value, then you do need to pay for the service. And I said, look, I happen to have, similar licenses. I pay for them myself. It's like when we see value, we pay for that value, right? And we're more than fine to ask if there's anything available. But as I've mentioned about 3 times, it's not available. So yeah, it's like if you see the value, pay for it. If you don't see the value, which I'm not too sure. Yeah, I'm not too sure if there's a question that you don't see value given how much you use it, you know. If you don't see value, then don't pay for it and don't have the service. Oh, well, it's always interesting in that moment of very transparent truth when you allow yourself to have that confidence to give that kind of transparency and truth to somebody. It's amazing what happens next. You see their human come out, and it's almost like they forget they're a business trying to just get a discount, and it's like you've just spoken straight to their heart. And it's like you've spoken straight to their human. And pretty much I must have touched on a point where I must have touched on, I don't know, a certain pain point around entitlement, because the next 2 minutes they proceeded to say, come on. It's not like that. It's not like I'm not trying to pay for it. It's not that I'm, not, I want to pay for it. Do you? Because you just spent 10 minutes telling me how you don't, right? And so I just sit there in silence. I'm not saying any of this out loud, but of course, this is how people respond. And this is where I love getting people to human. Not everyone will want me in their business, doing what I do best. But do we really want people, and do the people, the people that I'm selling for, do you really want people in your business that are just going to be humbug every single year, wanting lowest price, lowest price, lowest price? No, you don't. And these are my values and what I bring. And these are why I'm sharing these videos, so that you can not just develop your communication skills, but it's about developing your values. And my values just so happen to be that when something is valuable to me, I pay for that value. I love paying for that value. Take my money. Because why? Because you are making me money, you are saving me money, you are allowing me to put my mission out there in the world. Like, I want to pay for that. Is that the best business mindset? I don't know. But does it feel good? Yes. So this person proceeds to go on and for about a good 2 minutes, like, come on, you don't need to be like that. Come on, you don't need to be like that. Be like, what? I'm saying this all in my head. I'm just letting them speak. I'm really happy to pay for it. I'm just seeing, sales teams are out there, just seeing what can be done. Really happy to pay for it. I never said I wouldn't be happy. Oh, you literally just said that you would do this whole workaround and start all over again so you could get a discount. Like, but I'm just listening. And at the end of it, I was like, cool story. So yeah. And that's it. Like, that's nothing happened. It was just like they told me how they were trying to pay for it. And I was like, well, you do that then. You pay for it. That, I don't know if that works for everybody. And I don't, I wouldn't, and it's definitely like a situation by situation. But when your values are solid, it's easier to communicate. And for me, it's like, if you value something and you're getting a shit ton of value out of it, pay for it. And those values are easy to stand by when you're having conversations with others. And also, if that situation had been different, that's only for this situation. So don't apply that. Don't apply that to everyone that comes along asking for something, because that won't work. The Unearth Your Worth communication model is really about entering every interaction from your center, from a grounded place, from knowing your values, by knowing who you are, listening to the situation, and then dealing with it accordingly. Being able to traverse accordingly, traverse your energy, shift your energy accordingly as appropriate, right? If someone were having issues, okay, if someone were having issues, let's say, with their service or their licenses, and they had been getting a runaround from a support team or something, would I have taken the same approach? Probably not, because it's not unreasonable that this person is not happy with paying what they're paying for a service that's not up to scratch. So my approach would probably be more on this side of the spectrum, be more in my consideration, caring, you know. But when someone's like just getting the mostest out of the service, but just doesn't want to pay, oh, I'm not the one. Like, that's not me. That's not you. I'm not the one to talk to about that. Like, I'm not the one to talk to about that. Yeah. And this person was literally saying, I'm not trying to ask for a handout. This is exactly what you're doing, buddy. And yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. And sorry that I just called that out and pushed your button in that way, but that's exactly what you're doing. And I ain't the one. So I share these examples, and I will share more, just to give you real life, like, oh, I could take that, I could take that, I could remember that, I could use that. Um, uh, Trust me, I'm going to end with this. When we cannot traverse these different communication styles, we end up not trusting ourselves. In the moments where we need to put our foot down and be a bit more self-assured and we don't, we lose trust for ourselves and our ability. We lose confidence. When we need to be a bit more giving and considerate and we don't, and we're too much stuck on being in our righteousness, we lose confidence in ourselves. We lose trust in ourselves. We lose respect for ourselves, right? And when we lose respect and self-confidence for ourselves, then our communication withers. Our ability to communication doesn't get stronger, it gets more and more unconfident. So we say less, we stay silent, we swallow our truth, we don't ask for what we need, we don't express our emotions, we don't be our full expression. So training ourselves in communicating effectively helps us to speak our truth, to stand up, to rise, to listen to ourselves, to others. And it helps us build self-respect and self-confidence in our ability to ask for what we need, to listen to others, to go out in the world and move in the world with confidence. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this one here, but I trust and I know for sure that this video was F and B's knees, because why not? Nah. Of course it is. It is. It is the bee's knees because it's about communication. It's about strengthening communication, and that is the bee's knees. So here's to more of these, but for now we'll leave it here. Any questions, any pakai, please put them anywhere that you're watching this, and I trust that I will get to your questions. If you 100% want if you have a burning question, join our Authentic and Business group and put your question on the post in there where I will 100% see it. Okay. That's me, over and out. Ka kite.